All right, welcome back, my precious, gorgeous viewers, subscribers, random strangers, people looking for advice. In this video, without playing any musical instrument, I want to share some of my experience in coming up with a solo. I have recorded with various musicians, like local musicians, a famous act, my own band, and sometimes you have just your kind of basic song, and the song needs a solo. So what do? How do you approach it? There's several kind of approaches to soloing. You can just noodle. You can play a blues scale until something sounds good. You can have this kind of thought through melody that you work out at home and you take it to the studio and you record it. Or you can just do a bunch of trial and error stuff. Or you can just copy for example, the vocal melody, like we're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. So the guitar solo's like din 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 din. I personally think that solo freaking sucks because it's so unimaginative. A good solo is just something that takes your song to unexpected kind of dimensions. Think of one of the greatest solos ever, the Bohemian Rhapsody solo. If you ever watched the interview, one of the interviews with Sir Brian May, he said that he deliberately wanted to have a melody that is not the vocal line, something else. Then there's some solos that are just unmemorable, just like a stream of notes that you like, whatever, yeah, just like something. So how does David Gilmour approach his solos, and how did he approach his solos? He did it like this. He used the studio as an instrument. All of his famous studio recorded solos, for example, Comfortably Numb or Another Brick in the Wall, how that was done is he would go to the studio and noodle. So he would, when you're playing a solo, you have the space for the said solo, and he would play one pass, another pass, a third pass, and then maybe waiting a day, maybe waiting a few minutes, listening, say, oh, that sounded good. How about I take the first part, this part from the first take, this part from the 14th take, and this last part from the 27th take. And then literally using the studio, they would construct that perfect solo. And then once that perfect solo was released on vinyl, David Gilmour would learn how to play it in its entirety. And back then, nowadays you have a cell phone, you can record yourself, and I'll get to that. So that's the point. It's trying to experiment, trying to just let's do something unusual. Let's play an unusual line, like an unexpected sort of a line. And if it doesn't sound good, keep trying. So how I approach a solo, meaning that if I want to record something that is a quality kind of a solo, I take the backing track of whatever I need to record over. I play it and I start noodling. And I record myself after a few passes. Once I start kind of noticing what works and what doesn't work, I record myself. And then I stop the playback, I review the recording, it's like, that did sound good, but that second part of the solo could have been done better. So now that I've listened to what I had just played, I will attempt to play it again the same exact way, but correcting those other spots. So I'll do that, record myself. Like, you know what? I could have, instead of fretting that note, I could have bent to that note, or I could have used the whammy to go down to the next note instead of just fretting it. So that's the process that I think works. My cat is going berserk. Works very well for me is trying different things. Don't be afraid to just experiment. And one of the songs I recently recorded, I was just like, all right, let me just try this derivative kind of blues thing. How about I try adding some diminished arpeggios? That sounded pretty cool. How about I don't make it so kind of avant-garde and kind of balance it out? In my opinion, a good solo is something that you can remember, something you can whistle back. I mean, sure, you can just like do all of that stuff, but a solo needs at least some parts that are hummable, whistleable, something that you could recognize as opposed to just like just a stream of notes that they do sound good together, but it's completely unmemorable. Like most of jazz solos is just like shredding up and down, but something like what Miles Davis would play from Kind of Blue. That trumps every single just like virtuosic musical diarrhea sound. So that's my approach, that's my advice. I'm not saying just play everything slow, but have a melody, have something that here's a statement, you can just like talk some more about it and then some kind of a conclusion, but have a statement. Your solo needs to have a meaning. Otherwise, what's the point of playing? It's just there's no point. So there you go. Use technology. Don't be afraid to try stuff when you improvise, and use your ears. Thank you for watching. Peace.